أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي.
Many people will say it's not the right time for me to change. Many people will say my nafs, it gets the better of me. I'm not bark yet. I'm not ready to come to the mosque. I'm not ready to put the forehead down into sujood and worship my creator. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, one of the great scholars of Islam, rahmahullah, he spoke about this. He said the travelers to Allah, and we're all travelers to Allah. All of us, we are the musafir, we are the travelers inside this old life. He said the travelers to Allah, in all their different paths and diversity of their ways, are agreed that the soul is a barrier between the heart and Allah. Your own soul is a barrier between your heart and Allah Azza wa Jal, and that the heart in itself will not come close to Him or arrive close to Allah Azza wa Jal except by Him killing his own soul. What does that mean? Suicide itself is something forbidden. He didn't talk about suicide. He spoke about abandoning that soul, opposing it or being victorious over it. And by the soul, what do we mean? We mean by your own nafs, by overcoming your own desires, overcoming your own lusts and your passions in which way they're inclined. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said inside the hadith, he said, none of you is a true believer until his own hawa is in line with what I have come with. Meaning, ask your own self, your own desire, what is it inclined towards? Your own desire, is it inclined towards the truth or is it inclined towards the falsehood? How then can we overcome our own souls, our own nafs? This is the question which the youth, they ask us. This is what the question every man is pondering upon. How can I possibly fix myself up? Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he said, number one, by holding your own soul to account. Having this self-accountability. Asking yourself, I am the one who's responsible for this action. I am the one who's responsible for this very own speech. Not everybody else. We like to play a game where we like to blame everybody else. We like to play the blame game. So everybody else is blamed for my own iman to be low, when it's my own self. It's my own fault for not taking care of my own iman, by not nurturing my own soul, by not nourishing my own soul, by feeding my soul what it requires from the goodness, from what? From the trees of taqwa, from understanding the taqwa. And what's the taqwa? Abu Hurairah, when he described the taqwa, he said the taqwa is as if to walk through a field with many different thorns inside it, and to avoid those thorns is to achieve that taqwa. When you reach that end and you avoid those thorns, what's those thorns? Meaning the haram, meaning the makruh, meaning those disliked matters, and to stick to the halal. Secondly, he mentioned, and by opposing it and not following his own whims and desires. By opposing it and not following his own whims and desires. Meaning when your nafs, it tells you, go this way, and you know that is not the way to the mosque, or that is not the place where Allah is happy with, then you have to oppose your own soul. You have to tame and you have to punish your own soul. Not by beating yourself up, but by understanding, I'm not going to be a person anymore who's going to give in to my own desires. I'm not going to be a person who's going to be submissive to my own hawa. Rather, I'm going to be a person who's going to be submissive to the Quran and to the Sunnah. And a good way to do that is to ask yourself, before you do any action, is this an action where it's suitable for me to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? Can the man say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and spark up the cigarette? Can the man say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and walk inside the nightclub? Can the man fornicate and say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? The answer to this is very easy. No, of course not. Can the man say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and enter inside his own home? Can the man say Bismillah and go to the Hajj? Of course. So by understanding that, we can overcome our own nafs, overcome our own desires. Thirdly, he mentioned by making it patient in Allah's obedience. Having something called sabrun wa ta'a. Having the sabr, having this firmness, having this patience with obedience. Not just having sabr and not doing nothing. No, sabr upon the obedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. Meaning understanding there's going to be hardship that's going to come with it. Yes, I have to give up my old friends now. My old friends who used to incline me towards the nightclubs. They're still going to pull me, but that's my test. The rappers are still going to be there saying, why don't you listen to one more track? just one more album, just one more iTunes track, whatever it is. That's going to be your own test. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, do you think you'll be left alone without to say we believe, without to be tested? Every man's going to be tested in accordance to his own capacity. But Allah Azza wa Jalla, He doesn't burden the soul with more than it can bear. Fourthly, He said, by making it patient in refraining from Allah's disobedience. Make it patient in not disobeying Allah Azza wa Jalla. Stay away from that. If we have those four, my dear brothers and sisters, I believe we can overcome our own souls. We can overcome our own nafs, and we can become the true slaves of Allah Azza wa Jalla.